Liverpool are really dangerous when they're like an underdog.
He'll be watching our last week in the transfer window with a lot of interest, I think. I have great pleasure in saying they won't finish in the top four. I'm made up with that.
Maybe someone will push the plunger.
He'll be back.
The Sam sign will go into the sky.
He'll be back.
And he'll be back at Goodison Park or wherever. Hello and welcome to another show from the Late Challenge podcast and This Is Anfield. I'm Gareth Roberts, this is Paul Coe. Bit of bonus content for you. And this time we are doing predictions. It's not going to be dead serious. We don't want to all fall out. It's meant to be a bit of a laugh. This is Anfield have made us do this. It's a very dangerous game. And I'm on to you, Matt. I know why you're making us do this. You're doing it so people can come back and say, remember when you said blah, blah. And I was thinking today, and I was looking up as well, some of the absolute classics of other people making predictions. So Dietmar Hamann regarding Leicester City said, can't believe Leicester, because that's how he speaks, can't believe Leicester appointed Ranieri, tweeted the former Liverpool midfielder just after he'd taken the King Power reins in 2015. Great club, great fan base, but I'm afraid MK rather than Old Trafford season after next. Fast forward 12 months, Leicester won the league. Premier League champions. And MK Dons got relegated as well. Our beloved Alan Hansen, of course, once said you can't win anything with kids about Manchester United. Sadly, he was very wrong. And the classic Kevin Keegan, David Batty stepping up to take a penalty in the 1998 World Cup. Brian Moore didn't give him much warning and said, do you back him to score? And as Batty's mid-run up says, quickly, yes or no? Keegan said yes. Batty missed. And it's another classic. So yeah, predictions tend to sort of trip you up. So cheers, Matt. But we're going to do them anyway. So first off then, Premier League title. The bookies already have this as a one-horse race as we speak. So the title odds after this weekend, City are odds on 4-7. Arsenal are 15-2. Liverpool currently at 10-1. Chelsea 20-1. Newcastle 28-1. And then you keep on going further out from there. I'm sure you can sort of take a guess at the rest. So do you see it being any other way than it being a Manchester City title, Kopi? It's worth saying as well that we're recording before the transfer window closes, 11 p.m. this Friday from when we're recording. So could someone do something transformative? There is, of course, the Saudi deadline now to consider too, which is September the 20th. Other managers starting to join Klopp and having concerns about that. But will something hugely different happen between now and the end of the season? Or do you sadly see it being another title for Manchester City?
I think, having seen, and I wouldn't have been saying this a few weeks ago, but especially after, look, we've just done our live at 5, haven't we, from after the Newcastle game. After that result, you've got to remember City, we're City's nemesis. City and Guardiola would have been absolutely delighted that we fell away last year because they didn't have to worry about us every week. Like, we knew that feeling of like every week checking the other team's scores. I'm like, they won again. Imagine what it was like for them as well. They're like, we've done all of this. We shouldn't have you knobheads like on our coattails all the time. So him watching our start of the season, he'll be watching our last week in the transfer window with a lot of interest, I think. Because I think you've got to expect that Arsenal are done transfer-wise, probably.
Yeah, it spends a lot of money.
Spent a lot of money. They've done that thing that we did when we were trying to go from nearly done it to doing it. And they've spent a lot of money on 3 players. And one of them's got injured straight away with a bad injury, which is unfortunate but fucks them up. One of them has not started well at all, which we'll probably both go on to later with predictions. And then they've got Declan Rice, who I think will turn out to be a very good player, a good signing. But I don't think, especially the way they've started the season, I don't think what they've done is enough to challenge City still.
No, it's not looking that way, is it?
No, and they've got the Champions League to deal with this year, which they didn't have before. So I do think that if we can buy at least one, but maybe 2, if we could get a defender, a top defender and a top quality centre midfielder before the window closes, I think we are legitimate challengers for City again. And I wouldn't have said that a few weeks ago. But I just think with the firepower we've got, if we can just get that bit more solidity and reliability to cover for our injury-prone centre-backs, which they are injury-prone, I think we can. I think we can challenge them.
Are you saying Liverpool, though? Is that your prediction?
No. So I'm working off the basis, pessimistically, that we're not. I think we will all be pleasantly surprised. And when I say pleasantly surprised, I mean ecstatic if we go out and buy a centre-back, a defender and a centre midfielder before the window closes. Given how it's gone so far in this window, I don't think any of us are truly optimistic that that's going to happen, are we? So,
no.
Well, are you?
No, not both. I don't think we'll do both. I think we might do one.
I think we might do one, but I think we'll end up getting like a Gravenberch, however you say it. And I don't think that strengthens us enough to win the league. No. So that being the case, this ties into the top 4 predictions. I think we'd finish second, but I think it will be 2 leagues. I think City will I don't even think they'll run away with it. I think they'll just slowly walk away with it as the season goes on.
Yeah, I'm a bit grinchy on it as well, I'm afraid. So I'm going to go Manchester City as well to win the league. What I would say about that is I actually think Liverpool are really dangerous when they're like an underdog.
Yeah.
And when we as a fan base feel like we're an underdog and we're sort of fighting against something, we're fighting against if we've been written off, I think Klopp loves that as well.
Yeah.
We love that. I think that, it can help fire the spirit. So I'm not saying there's no chance, but I'm saying
it's like that given it. You're saying there's a chance.
Yeah.
Yeah, and look, I am with you, mate.
But if you've got to write down a prediction right now, which we are doing, and it's going to appear on some graphic, and Matt's going to absolutely stitch us up and put it all absolutely everywhere.
Yeah.
Then you've got to say Man City for the title, I think.
Because I think the other thing is as well for us in our current condition, for us to have that season you just said.
Me and you or the footy team.
You've thrown me now. It would be we have to have no injuries. We have to have one of those seasons where we get no injuries.
The manager's already said that, hasn't he?
Yep, and we've already got them.
Yeah.
So, Joe, you're already fucked.
Kanate's
already injured.
And then literally reference an injury straight after saying you're almost top 4 then, next one. So if you look at the bookies odds for an indication of where we are at the time of speaking, City 25-1 on to finish in the top 4, which is ridiculous, isn't it? Arsenal 4-9, Liverpool 4-6, Man United 6-4, Chelsea 13-8, Newcastle 17-10, Tottenham 3-1, Brighton 5-1, Villa 9-1, and then after that you're out. Big odds, West Ham 28, Brentford 66, etc. So the bookies are basically saying City, Arsenal, Liverpool, Man United as the top 4 for this season. Would you deviate from any of that?
Yeah. So and it's funny actually because I'm not convinced by Man United at all.
Me neither.
And I thought after last year they'd really kick on. But again, going into the signings and predictions about signings, I'm not impressed by their signings again and the money they've spent. And it looks like there's a possibility, one of their big signings from last year is creaking a little bit. I know he scored at the weekend, so maybe he's just had he's just had a blip. I don't know. I haven't watched any of the games.
Looking a bit Fabinho.
Looking a bit Fabinho and leggy, isn't he? Apparently. So I think they could drop out again. Got Champions League to deal with. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I would say someone else will creep into 4th. And this is my outsider, right? My outsider little prediction is Spurs. And that is I was going to say mainly based on, it's not mainly based on, it's solely based on the manager. I really like him. I just think there's something about him. I love the way he talks. I sent you a clip last week, didn't I, of talking about signing players.
Yeah.
And I love the way he talks about signing players. Goes into what we've talking about on the end of the live show about Liverpool signing players. His attitude to buying players is phenomenal.
He's incredibly charismatic as well, isn't he? And I think that doesn't always get mentioned in about managers, but I think that's dead important.
Yeah.
Like, you know, in any walk of life, not just football, if you walk into a room and this fella in front of you is your de facto boss and he's charismatic, you like him, he makes you smile, he makes you laugh, he makes you feel good about yourself, well, you're off to a good start, aren't you? And I think he obviously does that. He does that in the way he deals with the press, doesn't he? You know, you see him when he, you know, goes on BT or whatever, TNT as it is now, and, you know, like, someone's putting a feed.
I was just about to say, did you see the clips of the weekend?
Brilliant, wasn't it?
Just boss.
Introduce yourself first, mate. Yeah. Absolutely super. And like, you know, even like, you know, the fella who tried to take the piss turning up with the Bayern shirt before Harry Kane had moved to Bayern. And he's like, well, you come all this way and that's why you've come, mate.
Yeah, did you get what you wanted out of that sound? Yeah.
Type of thing. And, you know, he's just got a really good, like, manner about him, hasn't he?
But he's also got that thing, and in fairness, he does remind me a bit of Klopp, like the younger Klopp, before we'd worn him down, as we tend to do.
We always do.
He's got that thing about him where he's got that charisma and jovial nature, but he's also got the "don't fuck with me"
100%.
thing about him, hasn't he?
A little steel there, yeah.
I've seen a couple of clips from him for Joe, like inside the dressing room and stuff, Joe, halftime team talks and stuff. Yeah, like, Jesus, you would not mess with that fella.
So you're saying City, Arsenal, Liverpool, and Spurs?
No, I'm saying City, Liverpool. I'm saying we're finishing second.
Are you doing orders? Yeah, go on.
Yeah, so City, Liverpool, Arsenal, and then Spurs. But I'm saying Spurs, and the other part, what I'm saying in that is as well, I think losing Harry Kane could help them, because it changes the dynamic. I remember it reminds me of when, I mean, this is going back a long time now, but when we had Steve McManaman and Everton went through Steve McManaman and we relied on Steve McManaman, and when you lose a player like that, it often raises the level of load of other players, because all of a sudden they're like, no, I'm well better than you think I am. Could
just be new manager bounce though.
Could just be new manager bounce, and yeah, but as you said before, you know, predictions make you look stupid. I do think all predictions are being really harsh on Newcastle as well, though, by the way. Because as soon as I did that, I was like, I feel like I'm missing someone. I know Newcastle have lost to City and us already, and it wasn't great for them to lose to us with 10 men.
And they've got the Champions League.
And they've got the Champions League to sort as well. But they are solid. I think that's the thing with they've got above most of the other teams. They are really good defensively.
I think they'll be good at home as well. I think, you know, like the way a lot of Liverpool's success has been built on a good home record. I think that's what you're going to get from Newcastle, because their fans, whatever anyone thinks of them, you know, they are passionate. They do make a good sound, you know, and that is a thing. Yeah. Like, you know, like when they get the Champions League back there, we all know who owns them, and we've all got our concerns and all that kind of stuff. But never just forget out that for a second. For the Geordies that have always gone and all the rest of it, that's going to be a big night and a big moment, and it'll be buzzing. Yeah. And I think they'll get a lot of good results at home. I think it'll be really hard to beat at home, and that's why, like, you know, it's brilliant for us to go and do that. My you know, I'm not arguing really with much of what you've said. City, yeah, I can see us as runners up. Yeah, Arsenal will definitely be there. I think there's only really one spot that I'm sort of like, I don't think it'll be Man United. I'm not impressed at all with what I've seen. There's still loads of grumblings. There's still all the ownership issue. And I just think when all that's going on, you know, it creeps around the club, and the club's not right. It's not run right. It's not, you know, and you can keep changing managers, and someone else comes in and has allegedly got this big philosophy or whatever, and then you get a little bounce, and then reality kicks. And I think maybe reality is kicking with them a little bit. Yeah. And it does feel like they've overspent on certain players. Certain players don't seem to be working, and so fingers crossed, because I don't even like them. Yeah. You know what I mean? I didn't even know why we're going round the houses. Like, I don't want them to be in the top four and be made up if they don't get it.
I have great pleasure in saying they won't finish in the top four. I'm made up with that.
So when I'm looking at them odds, and I'm not really a betting man, I can't even remember the last time I put a bet on to put it into context, but like, I look at that and think Villa 9-1's all right, you know. I can see, you know, I know they started the season badly, and like it looked really bad that they got tonked by Newcastle. But I think, like, I watched that game and it wasn't a
5-1, no, was it?
And it was sort of like, you know, I can see them going on a run. You know, they went on a run last season, didn't they? Where I think only City and Arsenal, I think, you know, gathered the same number of points in a certain period of time and things like that. And I think Emery's a good manager. You know, clued up. They've got money as well. So, you know, there's a possibility that when you're sitting here in, what are we in? Nearly September. And we're saying, what do we think is going to happen by May? they could go out and spend in January.
Yeah.
And they could go out and reinforce. And you know, so I don't think it's beyond the imagination to say they sneak into the
Well, the
top
other thing
4.
that I think's gone under the radar with them is they brought in Monchi, didn't they?
Yeah.
Which is huge.
Yeah,
when you're talking about buying players, like it already looks like a couple of lads they've brought in. You're like, aye. And he's renowned. He's like, his whole career has been about finding lads that everyone else is like, fucking hell, he's good. Where'd you get him from?
Yeah. So that's
you're saying a little dark horse.
So I'm just saying what you said, pretty much put Villa in there instead of Spurs.
Ooh, that's a big shout.
So they'll come up on the screen, no doubt. As I say, as Matt is stitching us up. I wonder what Matt's predictions are.
Yeah, Matt,
maybe
put yours up as well.
Maybe we should put them on A.
Yeah, I think
so you
we
know
should.
what I mean. At the end of the season, when we get stick, you can get stick as well.
Yeah.
Relegation. We're on to relegation now. So Bucky's saying, as things stand, Luton, Sheffield United, and Everton.
That's interesting. The bookies have got Everton in there
because they haven't got a point and they haven't scored a goal at the point we're talking at. And
which is
Sheffield.
fair. I mean, I said that like I was shocked, but like that's fair enough. On
Sheffield
the
United
fact.
next as well, which I think is going to be huge.
Sheffield United away though, isn't it?
I know it's going to be huge.
So you've got to think Sheffield United looking at thinking we have to win that game.
Oh yeah, they'll think they can win. Yeah, 100%.
Well, they nearly got a point off City.
Yeah. So do you think it'll be those three?
I literally just looked up at my little notes there. Literally the same order as it's saying there: Luton, Sheffield United, Everton. I wouldn't have going into the season. I said Everton will be fine. I think Dyche, Joe, is the perfect manager for this stage of the Joe rebirth, rebuild, whatever you want to call it. I just thought he'd have them solid.
Firefight.
I just thought he'd have but Joe, I just thought he'd have them solid. They'll finish 7th. They'll finish like 15th, 16th, but it'll never be a scrap. But the way the season started, I don't know. And again, this week's almost bigger for them than it is for us. Because if they're desperate for a striker, aren't they?
Yeah.
But think about them. We're talking about attracting players. Imagine when you're knocking on a good striker's door now and saying, do you want to come and play?
Got to go to like DFS, buy now, pay later, haven't they? They haven't got any dough.
Yeah.
So you know what I mean? Like
well, I saw a transfer thing on Sky of how much, like, the lowest spending teams. It's Luton and then them.
Yeah.
And you're like, fucking hell.
Yeah.
That's bad. So even if they bring someone in, it's not going to be someone great, is it?
That's it. I mean, a top striker now is 100 million to 150 million. They're going to, what are they going to pull out from behind the couch? 20 million maybe? And he's someone who might get you 1 in 4. It's not great. And that is clearly, based on what we've seen so far, where the problem is. There's been 2 games where they've actually played all right, but they can't get the ball in the back of the net. And then if Sheffield United get a result against them, then Dyche is under pressure. Then the player, the fans are turning on them and all that. You can just see it becoming like this shitty snowball that rolls down the hill very fast.
You mentioned something. I don't know whether it's in here or off air. I think the biggest problem they've got is the fans won't be up for another fight.
I know
they've done 2 years now, and I think it will be. They'll just like nah. I think there'll be loads and go. Let's go down.
Yeah,
let's just fuck
I
it.
can't see them swarming round County Road and doing those welcomes and all that, which were brilliant, by the way. You know what I mean? You've got to give them credit for all that. And Goodison was absolutely rocking. I live not far away from it. I could hear it. And it was like, fair play. Do you know what I mean? And fair play for finally embracing that this is part of fan culture, not labeling it cop-out behaviour or whatever they have done in the past, or a lot of them have. But yeah, I wonder whether the appetite to do that for like a 3rd season running, I just think loads of them are sort of like resigned to the fact. I'm seeing it from Blues and now they're just sort of going, I think this is the one where
reality,
we do go.
Mate, we've seen this. I remember seeing this under Rafa. The reality is the appetite to do that when you're boss and it's for the top end of the table diminishes over time, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Because you get bored of it. Everyone gets bored of it.
We've had it, haven't we? Yeah. We've pulled it out. We pulled it out for Rafa, didn't we? I think it was Tottenham, wasn't it? The Tottenham game. And then, it became a thing for like really big European nights. But yeah, it does. And then equally, you'll get some fan who'll suggest it for something else. No! What are you doing? We can't do it for that. It's not special then if we don't. Yeah. You know what I mean? So they'll have all that sort of dynamic to deal with as well. Okay, let's move on. Let's do some quick fire then, because we're running out of time. First Premier League manager sacked. Again, at the time of talking, there's no great surprises there. Dyche is the favourite. 3-1, and then it's Heckenbottom, Sheffield United's manager, and then Luton's Rob Edwards. They're the three favourites to go first, followed by Steve Cooper at Nottingham Forest and David Moyes at West Ham. What would you predict to be the first one to go?
Well, do you know what's mad? Considering like managers usually getting sacked left, right, and centre. Here's a mad prediction for like a left field prediction.
We're both agreeing, but I don't know if we ended up saying there.
We both agree on the bottom three.
We agree on the bottom three.
Okay,
yeah.
so my left field prediction is there won't be as many sackings this year as there usually are. Because
we can go no manager to leave.
Yeah, I wouldn't go that
500
far.
500
to 1. Maybe it's worth a fiver, but I wouldn't go that far. But like if you're Luton, why are you sacking Rob Edwards?
I know, he's done brilliant for you.
He's done brilliant for you. What do you expect him to do? You expect him to get relegated, so just have a good season and come back up.
It's that thing though, isn't it, where boards of the club start like get themselves in trouble early doors, start thinking, well, it's worth a gamble to change because that might keep us up. And that's why you'd end up getting the Allardyces and, whoever else is classed as a, break glass and appoint manager situation.
Well, of all of them, I mean, you just think about the management of the clubs.
I don't know where you go after Dyche for them.
But it's most likely to be Dyche, isn't it? Because Everton's management is so shite. Like, it's bored.
I think what I've heard, what I know, which is not loads, soz. I'm going to say Heckenbottom just because I think Sheffield United's like board
if they got a mad board
can be
well.
a bit mad. I think
I should
so.
know a bit more about that.
Yeah, so I'm going to say him. You're going to go Dyche. Okay. Next is top goal scorer. We're both saying Haaland. Yeah. Okay, that's that done. Surprise team. I'm saying Villa because I don't think anyone's saying Villa can get top 4. So if Villa do get top 4, that's a surprise. So there's my surprise team.
Okay, well, would Spurs count as surprise then if they got top 4?
I think so because they've been shit for a long time.
Yeah, all right. Well, I'll say Spurs.
So that's that boxed. Best signing, worst signing.
Best signing. I'm going to do a couple of home ones. We've both been, and I have been banging about Szoboszlai, and I know he was 60 million, but I think, did you see Jesse Marsh talking about him?
No.
And he said, unbelievable. Yeah. For you to pick him up for 60 million is unbelievable. I don't think anybody's talking enough that we bought a World Cup winner in McAllister for 35. I mean, I still can't understand how he had a release clause for that. That's crazy. I think
he signed an extension and put it in one of them ones.
Right. So I think those two close to home. The two under the radar ones, one I am going to mention because it ties into my Spurs thing, but loads of people are saying it is Maddison. Again, ties into do you know when people are like, there's no value in the market? I looked up his age at the weekend. He's only 26 and he was 40 million quid. And again, Joe talking about the Spurs manager, hearing him talk about Maddison, loved hearing him talk about him. He said, got him at a perfect age. I love the way he's
proven quality.
But his personality's boss. You see him like John going on Sky and all that. Great personality, great lad. And he said he's bounced into the club and gone like, I don't know why everyone's so down around here. Boss stadium, boss training facilities, big club. Let's do something. So I think he's a boss signing. The other one's under the radar. One is a mad one because they've just signed him, but they had him last year, was Kulusevski at Spurs. 25 million they've got him for, which I don't know how that's worked. Getting him from Juventus, there's maybe something going on there. But Kovacic, again, one that no one will really mention. But to pick up a player like him for 30 million and he just drops into your side from one of your main rivals when you've lost Gundogan, I think signings like that go under the radar. I think really good one. Who are you going for?
I mean, I'd put on the notes so that you saved them for me, and then you didn't. Was Szoboszlai because I've loved him so far, and I suspect that if we revisit this video in however months onwards, we'll be talking about him offering even higher praise because I think it's been a great start. He looks so comfortable at this level. When you think about all the players that come in from elsewhere, and they always have this time to settle, and everyone's sort of taking that as read as that's what Klopp always does with players. He's not doing it with him, is he? He's dropping him in and he's playing 90s or whatever, and like he's a starter. Yeah. There's no like we'll take him out for a bit or whatever. So I'm going for him. The worst signing, I'm saying Kai Havertz. I just don't get it. I didn't get him when he was at Chelsea. I think there's maybe a little bit of arrogance from Arteta involved here, that he's looked at it and gone, I'll get something out of him that other managers couldn't. I just don't think it's there.
But he paid 60 million quid for him.
I know.
I think if you picked him up for 30 million and it's a bit of a...
So I'm saying him. And he's the one I'm offering up for the potential leg on the face. Who was your worst one there, did you say?
Mine was Havertz as well.
Yeah. I mean, Onana's looking pretty shite at this point as well.
I thought Onana was going to be transformative for them, you know.
I know. And instead he's taken out people should have
become a meme.
And then he's going down on one knee and letting people slot it in the corner. We'll end on, because we are out of time now, we'll end on who'd you back to have the biggest knobhead moment as a manager? I mean, I would normally go for Sam Allardyce, and maybe I should still go for it, because maybe someone will push the plunger.
He'll be back.
The Sam sign will go into the sky, and he'll be back at Goodison Park or wherever.
Yeah.
In fact, I'm just going to do that. I'm going to say someone's going to appoint Allardyce, and when he comes back, he will offer the biggest knobhead moment.
Yeah.
Are you going to go for?
I love that. I wish I'd have thought of that, but I'm not going to copy your. I mean, the Hodge just feels like a too easy a choice, doesn't he? But
yeah,
it's most likely to be one of them type fellas.
You saying the Hodge?
I'll say the Hodge.
You saying the Hodge? I'm saying Big Sam. Could have been Guardiola. He's known to have one or two of those as well. Mass might slip for Eddie Howe. We'll see. Anyway, that's been an extra bonus show from us. Paul Cope, Gareth Roberts, the Late Challenge podcast. Go and check that out. We're doing all this in association with This Is Anfield, so thanks to them. We'll be here every week. So like, share, tell everyone all about it. Let us know what you thought in the comments. Up the Reds.